This video is going to talk about the fundamental theorem of calculus, and what you should take away from this is it's just how the integrals and derivatives are related. So there's two parts to the fundamental theorem of calculus. Part one is that if f of x is continuous, and then there is some function capital F of x, where that capital F of x is equal to the definite integral from some value a to some bigger value to some other value x of a function f of t dt, then by definition the derivative of f prime of x will equal lowercase f of x. So there's a little bit of nuance to this. There's some fancy things we can end up doing with it, but the big picture of this is really just indirectly saying that the derivative of an integral is the original function. So if I integrate f of t, I'm going to get some other function, big F of x. And if I take the derivative of big F of x, I'm going to get back little f of x, this function in here. This is something that as you work the examples and as we'll talk about in class, it's just something you have to play with to wrap your mind around. I can't really explain it any better than stating it and saying we're going to work with it, and that will help you understand it. This part two is a little bit more straightforward as far as like a rule that's useful. If f of x is a continuous function, and there is some big F of x where big F of x is equal to the integral from a to x of f of t dt. So same definition as before. Basically, if big F of x is the result of integrating little f of t, then the integral from a to b of big F of x no, sorry, that's completely wrong. It's been a little while since I've reviewed all these rules, so I'm a little rusty on it, is equal to f of b minus f of a. And this is useful because it basically says I can evaluate an integral if I know its antiderivative by just plugging in values into its antiderivative. And this is the primary way that we'll end up solving or evaluating definite integrals. We won't use Riemann sums, we'll use the fact that we know this big F of x based on the other functions.